Good evening. Hang on. Button monkey needs sacking. Oh, that's me. Good evening. Welcome to Falls from Iron. I'm Gatesy. You probably worked that bit out because wherever that thing over there tells you who I am. You've probably been here before anyway, so whatever. Wow, I'm a happy bunny. I got to tell you, Liverpool. We turned them over. That's not bad. That is not bad. Before we get into that, don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell icon, molest it, shake it around, do what you got to do. Mate, honestly, I am so happy with what happened yesterday at London Stadium. I cannot even begin to tell you. Before I get into that, I'm going to do my usual shout out. Please do consider putting the information that's on this banner onto your social media platforms. It's young Isla Caton who's battling neuroblastoma. If you don't know the story, basically she's a 7-year-old girl who can't get treatment for the cancer that she's fighting. Her family need all sorts of help with just basically the situation that they find themselves in. So all we need you to do is this information is in the description below YouTube and Facebook. You can copy and paste it, put it onto your social media platforms. That's it. If you can put any money into the pot, do you know what? That's even better still. You've got a Just Giving link there. So please do give generously. No donation is too small. And this family will love you forevermore, as will I. Thank you very much indeed for your support. So let's just have a quick look at the comments and see who's in here. Oh, look, he's there. Do you know, he's stuck in the kitchen, bless him. He's if you don't know, Duke's a manager of a pub in Dartford, and it's all hands to the pump, and he leads by example. He's in the kitchen. He's food monkey. I'm button monkey here. He's food monkey. And he's apologizing that he can't be. And as usual, I gave him my sympathetic reply. Shut up, you tart. It is not a lover's tiff, Walshy. It's banter. That's all it is. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, so just have a look here. We got TDT's in. How you doing, mate? Hope you are well. Hope you are as happy as I am. You can probably see the happiness is beaming through me. Fresh. Yes, the crooner. Yes. Bash the bell, says Duke. Bash the bell. Sharky, I hope you are as well as me. Still walking around with a grin on your face after yesterday, mate. Honestly, you can't wipe it off me. And it's an international break coming up, so I'm going to be like this until the next match. I mean, it's quite incredible, and let alone the fact that we're third in the Premier League table, and the only thing that separates us from second is goal difference. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. My brother's in the chat. How you doing, Ben? Trodge, hope you are well, sir. Disabled team's just saying hello to Walshy. And the missus is saying that she's in the kitchen as well, which is where she belongs. And that's not a sexist comment, by the way. She's a chef by trade. So that is where she belongs. Happy Days says words and pictures, and Walshy's just saying hello to Sharky. Right, okay, let's get down to it then, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my cousin Dave's just rocked up. You know it, Dave. You know it. I'll tell you what, it was absolutely fantastic. Right, let's get down to it. So there, hang on, let me get rid of that banner. Oh, button monkey needs sacking. Right, let's go full screen. Get rid of that one. That was the starting lineup that took to the pitch at London Stadium yesterday. No real shocks. Fabianski, Cresswell, Ogbonna, Zuma, Johnson, Rice, captain, Souček, Benrahma, Fornals, Bowen, and Antonio up top. Not really any surprises there. It's pretty much been our standard team for the course of this Premier League season. That there was the Liverpool team. Not really too much in the way of shocks there either. Alisson in goal. What a fantastic game he had. I thought he was doing his best impression of Roberto at one point. Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip, and Alexander-Arnold as the back four. Midfield three was Oxlade, Chamberlain, Fabinho, and Henderson, the captain. And up top, you had Mane, Jota, and the world's greatest player at the minute on his form, isn't he? Mo Salah. Well, he was absolutely fantastic yesterday, wasn't he? Nah, maybe not so much. I'm being a little bit cheeky there, but yeah, we'll get into that. And yeah, I'll just sort of put them up as I go along the stats. Hang on, just having a look at the Walshy's just saying he's done the washing up. Well, it's good to know you've got your role in the kitchen. Mr. Duke is saying, what are we? And Walshy's already replied, we are massive, and so is Sharky. So yeah. Anyway, world's greatest diver. Yes. Now you may very well say that, Mr. Stribbling. I couldn't possibly comment. No, I can actually. Yeah, he did seem a little bit delicate around the old ankles. I thought at one point he was auditioning for the remake of Platoon, wasn't he? I wasn't too sure what was going on, in all honesty. Van Dijk was the only one who could defend. I tell you what, he's the best defender in the world, in my opinion. He's the best one-on-one. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I thought, had a decent game going forward. I don't think defensively he was all that much cop, but there you go. But we matched them. I mean, we stayed with them. I mean, they had periods in the second half where they started to get a lot of the ball and they started to exert an awful lot of pressure and all the rest of it. But we stayed with them. We managed to sort of grind out and stick with them, and we was resilient. I loved it. I mean, I got to be honest with you. And for those of you that have seen the match vlog, there's a little bit right at the end where I have a little monologue and I'm sort of talking about my emotions at that point when I recorded it. And they're still pretty much my emotions now. I mean, 46 years of age I'll be next month. And I'm struggling to sort of like believe what I'm seeing, to be honest with you. It's quite incredible. We obviously went 1-0 up in the 4th minute. We'll tell you what, let's talk about things. I want you guys to get involved in this. I want your opinions. At the end of the day, this is what this channel's all about. We want your interaction and all the rest of it. Right. The goal. Fornals puts in a corner. My brother said on the Have Your Say, he was on it. He's not taken a corner all season, has he, Pablo Fornals? Well, I'll tell you what. We've got 3 good corner takers, if you want to include Mark Noble in that, but obviously he doesn't play so much. But we've got Cresswell, obviously. We've got Bowen, Fornals as well. I mean, who knew? Puts in this ball. Ogbonna goes up with him. Allison goes up. It ends up in the back of the net. I jumped up and down. I was shouting and screaming and all the rest of it. And it quickly became apparent that there was a conversation going on, and then it comes up, VAR's checking, was there a foul on the goalkeeper? I mean, I played as a goalkeeper in my younger days, but I got to say that goalkeepers these days, oh my word, don't they get protection? I mean, it's protection with a capital P, and it's just incredible, the slightest little touch and it's like, oh, it's a free kick, whatever. And you're like, oh, for God's sake. Klopp was doing his nut afterwards, wasn't he? I found that quite funny. It was like, oh, no, you can't do this. And he said something about, I saw an interview that he did. What I saw it with the feed it was on NBC in America. And he was turning around and saying about, oh, he had his arm pulled away. And I'm like, what are you on about? I mean, just absolute nonsense. And listen, I've just done a recording. You remember Douglas, who was on with Opposition Recon a couple of days ago? He's really, really good, articulate young guy. And I've literally just finished a recording with him, which I'll be doing the editing after this, and it will go out tomorrow morning. And he was really quite contrite and didn't make any excuses. He said, look, West Ham were the better team. The first goal, he said, wasn't a foul. Absolutely not. He did say that he thought the Cresswell one, was it, wasn't it? And to be honest, when I saw it in real time at the stadium, I thought, oh, that's a meaty challenge. But the referee never gave the free kick on the pitch. The VAR's looked at it. They've never deemed it to be a red card. In fact, Cresswell never even got a yellow. And the other thing that I found quite telling, and I mentioned this to Douglas on the recording that I've just done of Opposition Outcome, was none of the players around, the Liverpool players, none of the players around Cresswell when he made that challenge on Henderson were up in arms and complaining about it. Normally when someone makes a really naughty challenge, the teammates are all like, ref, and all that. There was none of that. And even Henderson got up and wasn't like complaining too much. He just sort of got up, pulled his socks up and cracked on with it. So I was like, well, that's probably a clue. Just looking at the comments, can you join in 5? Of course you can. Of course you can. You've got the link. When you're ready, just jump in. Klopp has a petty excuse whenever Liverpool lose. Yeah, it does seem that way. And the thing is, I think he's a fantastic manager, but I do think he does himself a disservice when he starts making every excuse under the sun. But to be honest, all of the sort of like the great managers, if you want to go Ferguson, if you want to go Wenger, I think Pep can do it on an occasion. Mourinho can do it on occasion. They all can sort of like trot out excuses. It's just quite incredible. No foul. Greet set Antonio could have been Nolan 15 years ago. Allison was targeted as a weak spot. Yeah, I make that right, Kent. I make that right, and it worked a treat, to be fair. Words and pictures. Football is a contact sport. Jumping into a header, catch the ball, and coming together. It's part of the game. Yeah, it is. It is a contact sport. Although they do seem to be trying to make it a non-contact sport. Quite ridiculous. Budgie's just jumped up. Evening all, playing darts tonight. Has just popped in to give a like. Have a good evening, everyone. Hope it all goes well, mate. Hit a couple of ton 80s, yeah? Do you know what? I've only hit a 180 once in my life. Not that I'm any good at darts, so, it's not that sort of big a deal. But anyway, so 1-0, the goal stands, and like I say, Cresswell, challenge on Henderson, fine. Jota on Ogbonna opens up a little bit. He opens up a cut on Ogbonna's head. He later has to go off. I asked the question of that one, was that a red card? Or, because I think that, again, I think I could understand it if that was given, but it wasn't. So did the referee even it up? I don't know. I mean, we're told that, oh no, referees don't do that. Yeah, right. Okay. Duke is not in the building. He is in the building, Scott, just not this building. He's in the other building. Oh, hang on. I say that. Look who's just rocked up.
Hi.
How we doing?
Just in the middle of cooking a couple of ribeyes, darling. How are you? You good? How's everyone in the chat? Oh, we're wonderful.
Everyone, I think, is in fine fettle. Everybody seems to be as jolly and as happy as I am. For some unfathomable reason, Duke. I can't work it out. It's really quite uncanny.
Hey, listen, you were talking about Klopp as I looked off of YouTube to come on, and I realised I can come on without the camera on, and I can stick the headphone in, and I can be part of the show.
Yeah.
It weren't going to, but it's quite enough that I can. It's not like I've got 150 tickets sitting here in front of me. We bullied Liverpool Park for the most part. Believe it, then. We bullied Liverpool Park for the most part, and Klopp didn't like it. Klopp doesn't like anyone getting aggressive or physical with his side. He feels like the way I look at it is that he doesn't feel that his players are too good to be touched by anyone else, and it's a little. I feel that there's always something with that guy, and it frustrates the life out of me. Rob, if there's any comments that come through, I've seen that one. Scott, yes, medium rare and a medium. It seems to me every time that someone comes up and are physical against Liverpool, they don't tend to like it, and he doesn't tend to like it. His players are too good to be tackled. His players are, you see what I mean? And there's always something with him, always. And I watched the game. I watched the game yesterday. I worked with break around being able to see the game, and I was going to, because earlier today, because I didn't think I was going to be able to get on, I was going to record a little bit for you to show tonight. And I have to say, last 10 minutes, and again, we'll cover this a little bit more in depth as we go. I paced around the pub. I was resetting chairs and tables. I pissed a lot of the regulars off because I was literally walking.
You do that all the time anyway.
I was pacing. Oh, listen to that sizzle. Doesn't that sound nice? I was pacing around the pub because I didn't know what was about to happen. It's that those last few minutes. I was mate. How good is it right now at the area? How good is it right now? I'll be a West Ham fan, and right now, I'm pissed off that the international break turned up. Oh, God. Fuck off with you. I want West Ham again next week. I want West Ham on Thursday, Sunday. Oh, mate, I'm buzzing at the minute being a West Ham fan.
Ben, your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, mate, it was interesting when Duke was just saying about we bullied them, we was putting the challenges in. I think the phrase is they don't like it happen.
Yes. Yes, I believe that is the phrase.
Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I posted something on Twitter earlier that, there's been a lot of chat about the Cresswell tackle. And look, I think in the modern game, it's probably 50-50. Some people think it's dangerous. Some people think it's a great tackle. I'm old school and I'm a West Ham fan, so I think it was a great tackle. But at the end of the day, right, when I think about it, that challenge, I feel like we won the game after that tackle. That set the tone. That got the crowd up for it. That got the team up for it. Yeah. And that was the tackle to say, if you want to get the points off us, you got to want it more. You got to die on the pitch. And we was willing to do it, and I don't think they was.
They went missing. Did you boys reckon, Ben? Do you reckon they went missing after that challenge with regards to the tackling and putting a boot in? I think they just disappeared from. They realised that we were going to outmatch them physically. You look at Antonio with a goal. O'Connell with a goal. Our physical presence rattled them early. Rattled them.
Yeah, I think multiple things. I think the big moments went our way, and I think, like I said on my little broadcast last night, I think the best thing that happened was them equalising, because then that made us think
up the arse.
Well, we can't just cling on to a 1-0, and that for us, we thought, let's give it a go, and we are good enough to challenge these teams. You know what I mean? Maybe not on a consistent basis across the course of the season, but at the end of the day, Moyes has got to start. No, but I'm saying past history would suggest that's not the case. But Moyes has got to so consistent, we are performing, and who knows where we can get to.
Can I ask you boys a question before we go any further?
Of course.
Now, I put this to my nephew when he came into work tonight. My nephew works here. And he's a West Ham fan. He doesn't necessarily watch the games. He's a supporter. He doesn't necessarily watch the games. He's just turned 17. There's girls around now, and he's starting into a bit of a lady.
We've all been there.
He's my nephew. God love him. So I asked him a question. I'm going to ask you boys the same question.
Yep.
Right now, this moment in time, are we or are we not in a title race?
Ben?
You've thrown it to me first. Right.
Yeah.
I will. All right. I'll answer your question based on how you've phrased it. Yeah. Right now, I'd have to say yes, we are. I mean, we're 3 points off top spot with we're a third of the way through the season or a quarter of the way through the season. So I think I would have to say yes. Now, do I think it's unlikely. Give it 5 games to go. We'll be 3 points off top. I've got to be honest and think. I think our squad is probably not strong enough to sustain it once Christmas and European and all that. But look, at the end of the day, that would by far exceed any expectations. If we were still challenging for 4th, come a few games to go, I'd be very, very happy. So I'm going to throw it to you, Rob.
I agree. I think that, are we in a title race? Yes. Will we be in a title race with 3 or 4 games to go? Probably not, because like you, I think we're possibly going to get undone because our squad depth isn't as deep as the teams that will contest the Premier League at the business end of it will have, like your Chelseas and your Man Cities and your Liverpools. Although we beat them yesterday, in fact, we beat 2 of those 3 that I've just mentioned quite recently. But their squad is incredibly deep. I mean, they can have 50, 60, 70 million pound striker on the bench, no problem at all. So that's where I think that we'll probably sort of like, we won't be contesting the title at the business end, but we're in it now. As you say, we're 3 points off of the top. We're only off of second place by goal difference. However, if you want to ask me, do I think we're going to qualify for the Champions League? I think there is a distinct possibility. I think there is a distinct possibility.
Another question to you and everyone in the chat. I see what Ken's saying now. In 8 games' time, if we continue how we've been playing, and as I said to you in the preview for this game, Rob, and I said we need to go out and play our game. And I said to you, I picked the exact correct team. The team that I said to you was bang. It was on, and formation, and I said, don't change the way we play. Let them have the ball up there. It doesn't matter what they do with the ball up there. It matters when they get through our D, through the centre circle and into our half. Now, we did exactly that. We played our game. We let them do what they had to do. We bullied. We were great. If we continue this form over the next, like I say, between 5 and 8 games, boys, and we pick up, let's say, I don't know, in the next, what are we talking? We pick up 10 points out of the next 5 games. Surely we have to be considered. If we can pick up 10 points out of the next 5 games, surely we're still there, right? Surely we are still there. I mean, I seriously, I think we're in the title race. I really do. No one gave Leicester an ounce of fucking, I don't know, a chance of winning it. They gave him no chance. You know, True. Right now, without sounding romantic, I suppose, if you want, this is our Leicester season, boys. Even if we finish 4th or 3rd, this is our Leicester season right now. This is our fairy tale because this is amazing. Let's be honest. We've all supported West Ham for 40 years, give or take. Ben, I might be aging you slightly. I'm not sure how old you are.
Nearly.
You know, and we've not. I mean, the best season was 85, 86. I was 8 years old. I have very limited memories of that season. This is fucking amazing, boys. I'm living a dream. I've got customers coming up to me, going to me, you know,
what are you so happy about?
I've got Millwall fans coming up to me and going, you boys are having a great season this season. That don't happen.
Weird.
That don't happen.
Do you know what I think?
Loving life.
Mate, do you know what? If we get to January, if we can get a couple of shrewd signings in January, then I might start to believe a bit more, you know, depending on where we are. I mean, this is an interesting one, though, because if we get to January, and we're above Man United, will they want to do business with us for Lingard if we're interested? What do you reckon? You don't want him?
Don't want him.
Who, Jesse Lingard?
Yeah, don't want him.
I disagree with Duke. I'd take him all day long and twice on a Sunday.
But what I'm saying, Rob, do you think if we're above Man United in the Champions League places, would they sell him to us and strengthen us if they not miss out on Champions League? I don't think they would.
But they'd lose him for nothing. They'd lose him for nothing if they didn't. I think they would.
Would he strengthen us, though? Would he strengthen us with what we've already got?
Yes.
Would you allow him to walk back into the first team?
No.
With what we've already got playing?
No, but he would strengthen the bench. He would strengthen the bench.
At the expense of the only person I'd let him have strengthen the bench at the expense of would be Yarmolenko. No one else. That's why.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying about the squad depth.
He had the chance to join us, right? He had the chance to join us, and he turned around and went, "No, let him go and join."
But he's a Man United fan, Duke.
Couldn't give him a He had the chance of becoming a big fish in a smaller pond.
Yeah.
He turned around and said no. That's my opinion. Listen, everyone's allowed it, and I'm not. If like people in the chat, I've got Eric there saying we need Lingard and whatnot. Listen, I'm not saying you guys are wrong because I'm right, and I'm not saying that I'm wrong because you're right. At the end of the day, that's just my feeling on it. I think the prick turned around and burnt his bridges with me anyway. And if he comes back and he fires us to the Europa League Cup win, fantastic, amazing. And if he walks back through the door and puts on a West Ham shirt, he's going to get as much support as he did last year. That's fine. He's come back and he's now a West Ham player. No problem with that. You know what I mean? Me, personally, there was a question somewhere a little bit higher. Who was it? Trudge? Yeah. Sorry.
Hang on. Which one?
I shouldn't touch buttons.
That one.
Yeah, that one. Listen, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you know in January I was in January. There are two strikers I want us to go and sign. One, I'd love to see us go get Adam Plotek, but that being said, we were all banging on about us lot wanting to get Seema, and he can't currently do it. He can't currently do it on a wet night in Stoke. So, Plotek, but we've got to be careful. It's got to be the right price. There's a young man that plays in the Austrian Bundesliga, and currently he's worth about 18 million according to transfer mark, and he's having so much fun at Salzburg at the minute. His name's Karim Adeyemi, and he is outstanding. He's worth, I reckon he's worth about 25. Well, we could probably get him between 25 and 30 mil. I had a little ding dong with some little scrope on Twitter last week, who turned around and said, "Why would he come to West Ham?" My argument would be it'd be something for the big boys. If he's scoring goals for fun in the Champions League, why would he want to come to West Ham? Let me tell you why he'd want to come to West Ham. We are currently sitting fourth when I spoke to him, but we are currently sitting third in the most competitive league in the world.
Yeah.
The best footballing league in the world, right? We are currently sitting third, we were fourth. We are competing in that league. Right now, we are in a title race. We are currently, until the shit teams fall out of the Champions League, including a shit Barcelona right now, until they drop out of the Champions League, we're favourites with Napoli behind us to win the Europa League. We've got two other cups that we are still competing in. Right, we haven't played a game in the FA Cup yet, but we're still in the quarterfinals of the League Cup. Why would he not want to come to a club that's progressing every single match, every single day?
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll be back.
This is the life of a pub manager, ladies and gentlemen.
But just going back to the game yesterday, Rob, I just think we, like I say, first half, I think we went into our shell. Second half, we come out. I mean, Fornals, what a player. He's just, his performance levels have gone through the roof. He don't stop running. He's chipping in with goals. I mean, like we said, those set piece deliveries were amazing, and I think let's utilise them going forward. And I think Ogbonna got injured. Dawson's come in. You wouldn't have even known there was
really, did you?
You didn't notice it a thing. Like I actually thought Dawson's distribution I thought was really good. His passing what I thought he was good at is getting the ball out and passing it quick. Do you know what I mean? Get the ball out to Ben Johnson quickly to start an attack. I mean, I'd like to watch the game again because I think we played so well, and I'd like to just see it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the game. I then watched Match of the Day. I couldn't stop watching it,
Kent makes the point there that Fornals was playing as the number 10 yesterday, which is his best position. I know him and Ben Rama sort of like they interchanged quite a bit during most of the matches, but yesterday he was definitely playing as the 10 and Ben Rama was wide left, and he had a fantastic game. I don't get the people that even now still turn around and say that they don't get why Pablo Fornals is in the starting 11. I really don't understand why these people are still looking at him and going, we don't understand why he's got his place. It makes no sense to me.
May I?
Go for it. And I think I know where you're going.
I heard it earlier this afternoon.
No.
That he's only in the team because of the amount of work rate that he puts in.
Right.
You know, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, again, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I'm not bashing anyone for having a different opinion than myself. But if you're going to have this opinion, you need to back it up. Okay, we've said this. We've said this over and over again on this channel. Now, listen. You can have a look at the work rate that Pablo Fornals puts in. You only have to look at his stats every game. I mean, I actually gave him an 8.5/9 in the game yesterday. If I'm honest, I don't think many of the players actually got below an 8. I think there was one. And we'll cover this in a bit, I suppose. But it's what frustrates me with Pablo Fornals is he came to us as this mercurial. I'm going to say Joko-esque type player. You know, you look at how he played in the Euro under-21 Championship for Spain. He came across as that tricky little ball at feet kind of player. He's come in and he's actually added a steal to his game now. He's actually added.
He's got a little bit more muscle about him, hasn't he?
Oh, he has. You know, and listen, I was so pleased when that goal went in yesterday. Over the moon. But I still see too many people going that, you know, we shouldn't be playing him because he doesn't offer enough going forward. Well, he got his goal yesterday, so you lot just need to hush your noise a little bit. You know, I had people coming at me last year because of my comments about Benrahma. But I had people coming at me because I was saying he wasn't offering enough. You know, he didn't track back. He didn't offer enough going forward. And I did say, Casey, a few streams ago when we were doing a pre-match, I believe, that I would rather see Benrahma further out wide to cut in on that magical right foot that he's got and see Fornals playing the 10. And we saw that yesterday. And listen, Benrahma again had a good game. I rated him at an 8 yesterday. He had a good game. But for me, Fornals was amazing yesterday. The work rate, the miles coverage that geezer must have put in was off the charts. You know, Mark, I completely agree. He should have a statue at the front of the stadium.
The thing is, people turn around and say, oh, he only gets in the team because of work rate. They're probably the same people that turned around and said that Sebastian Haller was a lazy bastard that did nothing. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I love Fornals. I love what he brings to the side. We know this, and I've always been that. I've always been that champion for him, for want of a better word. But I would love to see, and Kent's spot on there. Work rate. That's what Moyes is looking for, you know. But that being said, he ain't going to win his games on his own, and he still needs the rest of the players around him, and they're all putting in. Currently, every single one of them is putting on a magnificent shift. Every game is putting in a magnificent shift. They might not be the most. They might not have the best game of their career every game, but they're offering something else in a different way. You know, which I spoke about Benrahma the other night against him when he played against Ghent. First half, I thought he was quite poor. Yeah. Second half, that game, he turned his game around and he had an amazing game and scored 2 fantastic goals, and I couldn't have been happier for him. You know, but again, he needed that foot up the arse at half time because he wasn't amazing.
Fair enough. Turning our attention to the next game, gentlemen. Wolves away on the 20th of this month. Wolves presently occupy 8th spot in the Premier League. They're on 16 points. I'll come to you first of all, Ben. Your thoughts on the Wolves match upcoming. I know we've got an international break, but you know this should be, dare I say it, fairly straightforward.
I think, but to be honest, Rob, I don't think there's ever a straightforward game in the Premier League. I mean, you've seen it multiple times where Well, look at Liverpool last season. Liverpool, the champions, they get absolutely. If you've got a couple of players not at their peak, you can't carry anyone. But there's nothing to suggest that that's going to happen. Without a doubt, if everyone's fit, you keep exactly the same team. Hopefully Ogbona's fit, but then Moyes has got a decision to make as to whether he goes straight back into the team. It'll be a tough game, like every game in the Premier League is. But mate, confidence is high.
Yeah.
I just think we've got. We were talking about Salah, the best player in the world, and he could be. But in Declan Rice, we've got the best central midfielder in the league on current form, in my opinion. And if Rice starts dominating the game against Wolves like he did in the second half yesterday, then I'm confident we'll beat Wolves.
Yeah. Duke?
And listen, I'm concerned about one thing against Wolves. Let me rephrase that. I'm concerned against one man against Wolves. And I really hope that that Zuma and Ogbonna, Dawson, Diop, whichever one is put out there, is on the ball, because we saw against Genk what happens when you switch off against someone that has a little bit of pace. Diop turned his back, switched off a little bit, and Paintsill got in behind him, and we found ourselves 1-0 down. If you do that against Hwang Hee-chan, I promise you now, we will get punished, because that man is lightning. He is literally lightning. Gatesy, before transfer window, I wanted to see him at the London Stadium. He was on my list as to be the backup to Antonio. I know he had COVID, and for anyone going, oh, he had COVID, I'm sorry. Have a look at the way he started at Wolves. He's off to a flyer. But again, as Ben said, confidence is high. You do not change that team. That team goes out exactly the same as it went out yesterday, with the same tactics and the same mentality in that game. And we'll pick up 3 points.
I know you're a big fan of Hwang Hee-chan, Duke. Has he gone to Wolves on a permanent, or was that a loan signing?
I believe it's a loan with an option. Don't hold me to that. I believe that was the deal, and I think if Kent's there, he will be able to put me correct if I'm wrong. As he has a habit of doing. But mate, he is a fantastic. There you go, Landell. I knew he'd be there. Boom, he's in. Listen, he's a phenomenal player. Again, from a side that produced the likes of Erling Haaland and such. I believe Mane was there at one point as well with them, and reserves. Naby Keita was there at one point. So they have a history of developing these talents. I've got no other way of putting it, mate. They are absolute talents that they are bringing to the game. And I wanted him all day long, and now, I'm after another one of the little crown jewels. Little German, Karim Adeyemi, German fella, banging goals in for fun, absolutely blinding. I'd love to get Florian Wirtz, if I'm honest, but from what I understand, he's at 18 years old. He's worth about 55, 60 million pounds on transfer market. So he had another 20 million on top of that. The poor kid's worth about 75, 80 million at 18 years old. He has got so much pressure on his shoulders. But again, he's another lad that's banging him in for fun at that level.
Just this point here from Eamon. I don't know if you've seen it, Eamon, but the match vlog that I did for the game yesterday, there's about a 7 or 8 minute piece that I do right at the very end, and I touched on this very point. I had to get it off my chest that, last season we had all of the sports journalists, the pundits, the ex-players all saying the only reason West Ham are doing so well is because there's no supporters in the stadium. There's supporters in the stadium now. And
Can
I don't
suck
think
eggs?
we're doing that bad, are we?
Can I suck eggs?
Yeah, I've not heard a single one of them come out and go, "Hey, do you know what? I was wrong." None of them.
Well,
Radio
I'm
silence.
about to do exactly that. I'm about to do exactly that because I actually did a stream. I think it was one of the first solo videos I recorded. Rob, was it not?
Oh,
Where I said
we're Moose.
I kind of agreed with what Moose was saying because
Yep.
when we're toxic, we're fucking awful.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of agreed with what Moose said. And I'm still at a point where if with regards to the board have done nothing. All right, they put their hands in their pockets for Vlasic. Personally would have preferred us to have seen Daka or again Chan at the club. Listen, the scope is always there for it to become toxic at the club again. Let's not mess around. Right now, I don't want to play that person. And I'm happy to admit that having fans back in the stadium, I was wrong to say that, having fans in this. I still believe, because of how toxic we were before the COVID break and all the rest of it, I still think that we were, as fans, towards the ball, not towards the team. That toxicity did feed down to the side of the pitch, to pitch side and to the players. I do believe they felt that. But that being said, this season, the fans have been absolutely amazing because we've been given something to fall in love with again, and Moyes has done that. So I listen. I admit I was wrong. I admit I was wrong on that front because we're flying at the minute, and the fans are making so much noise in that stadium. There was talk that it's nothing like the atmosphere at Upton Park. Well, I tell you what, I'm telling you now, Upton Park wasn't always the greatest of atmospheres. It really wasn't. And I went to that ground on numerous occasions when I felt like I was sitting in a mortuary because it was so quiet. I've witnessed that firsthand. But I've also witnessed this place when it is absolutely rocking it. And I tell you what, I heard that come through the TV yesterday. And as I've said many times before, I've not been able to get to as many games as I'd like to. And I'm hoping to change that by buying a season ticket at some point because I just want to go back. But when I've been there, the Palace game, the Ghent game this season, the atmosphere has been just outstanding. I fell in love with going back again. I did say I wasn't going to go to this stadium. I'm telling you now, we've made it home. The fans have made that place home. It'll never be Upton Park. It'll never have the feeling of Upton Park. You know what? We can create some memories that were better than Upton Park.
Yeah.
Ben, your thoughts?
Mate. Yeah, mate. I've always been. Look, I would never say I was pro moving. You know what I mean? But I think what's gone is gone. And like I say, the first game at the Olympic Stadium, yeah, we played Bournemouth. We won 1-0. Yeah, it was a good atmosphere. You know what I mean? If we've got a good team, it'll be a good atmosphere. If the performance is good on the pitch and the fans can see the players putting in the effort and playing for the shirt, we'll sing all day long. We will sing our hearts out, and that's what's happening. Moyes. And look, some people don't want to give Golden Sullivan any credit at all. I will. Yeah, I personally think you win together and you fail together. You can't say everything bad. Oh, the tickets, people queuing because the scanner won't work. That's Golden Sullivan, but us winning on the pitch is nothing to do with them. You can't have it both ways. Yeah. The fact is, they had enough balls to go back to Moyes and say, we got rid of you. We should never have got rid of you. We're going to swallow our pride. Would you come back? That was a great appointment. And Moyes has galvanised the whole club. The people he's brought in. Someone mentioned this, and I think it's contributed towards our success. The backroom team that he's got, they've all been a manager themselves. They've got that experience that they can add to it. And you look at our reserves. Our reserves are second in their league. It's not just the first team. We've got quality coming through, young players coming through. That listen, this last season wasn't a one season wonder. We are here to challenge the established, big four, whatever you want to call top six. Yeah, and Moyes is building something to do that every year.
I'll bring your attention to this one from Eric. I'll start with you, Ben, and then I'll turn it over to Duke. Jared Bowen. He wants to talk about Jared Bowen. He says he was at Villa Park and his run, which led to the third goal, was absolutely fantastic. His run yesterday to split the Liverpool defence for Pablo Fornals' goal was amazing too. Ben, Jared Bowen's another one that this season has stepped up a gear.
He has. I still think he's got a lot of room for improvement.
Yes,
I
fair.
think his decision making of when to pass, when to shoot, and sometimes when to keep the ball, it needs to improve. But like I said on my little broadcast yesterday, he's getting the moments right. You know what I mean? Like, he'll do one or two good things in a game and he can score or assist. Now that run for the assist was absolutely top quality. He is knocking on the door for England, and I think he will get a call up at some point. But we bought a young player that's only going to get better and better. So I think he's fantastic. Nothing better to see a good young English talent doing well in the West Ham shirt.
And it was something we always used to do, was get a player from lower down the sort of like the footballing pyramid, polish them up. If you want to go sort of like back into the mists of time, Alan Devonshire is the prime example of plucking a rough diamond from the earth and polishing them up and look what you can get. And Jared Bowen and Said Benrahma are two cases in point. Duke, your thoughts on Said Benrahma? Jared Bowen.
Said Bowen.
Yeah, that's the one.
I tell you what, it was a young player in the 90s. I used to adore watching him play. He was a winger. He used to love running with the ball, and he scored. If I'm honest, he scored one of my favourite goals of the 90s. Scored one of my favourite goals ever, actually, against Everton in the FA Cup. Stuart Slater. And Jared Bowen reminds me so much of Stuart Slater in the way that he loves to run with the ball, and pretty much his gait is very similar to the way Stuart Slater used to run. I see a lot of the way Stuart Slater used to play in Jared Bowen, and Jared Bowen excites me. Not in that way. Before you start getting too carried away, Mr. Gates, on both sides.
No.
He excites me. He gets me to the edge of my seat when he starts running at players. And you saw that yesterday. Oh, Russ, I'm going to be all over that, buddy. I will be there. My word. I loved him. He was honestly one of my favourite players, other than Mr. Dix, who, by the way, let me
yes.
I'll probably end up getting divorced.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 130 quid. Let's not dick around.
It's only money.
But Mr. Canning Town Len, the Julian Dix signed picture, I did win. I did have to go upstairs and kind of beg for forgiveness after I went. I did say I wouldn't go more than 100. It went to 100.
This is why he's in the kitchen.
Mate, you know it, didn't you? I got to pick up hours to earn the money. But no, Jared Bowen just excites me. I sit on the edge of my seat when he goes running at players. And yesterday, I mean, there were several times in that 15-second period that he picked the ball up and ran with it.
Yeah,
he was tugged. He had his ankles knocked a couple of times. He was kind of nudged a little bit more than what you'd consider to be in the fair game of sportsmanship. But he stayed on his feet, unlike the Egyptian diver. He stayed on his feet, and look what came from that. Surely this is something that You know, these guys, you know, people like Salah have to, he probably watches back and goes, maybe if I'd stayed on my feet or if I stayed on my feet, I'd be a bit better. You know, but Bowen, when he picked up that ball, several times he could have gone down. 15 seconds, he could have gone down 4 or 5 times because he was kicked, he was knocked, he was pulled, all the rest of it, grabbed hold of, stayed on his feet, and the outcome was amazing. And that, you know, listen, Bowen for me is he's going to have a fantastic career with us. Liverpool can piss off if they think they're going to get him for less than probably 75, 80 million quid. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's what he's going to be worth to us as a club. Forget what he's worth to other teams. It's the same as Declan Rice, as I've said before. Declan Rice to us is worth significantly more than £100 million because of what he brings to the club and everything else. Jarrod Bowen for me is his worth to the club is north of 75 million. So, I'm a big Bowen fan.
I think it seems Bowen's game in the last couple of months has improved. I don't know if there's anything going on in his home life that might give him a bit of a perk up. I don't know.
I wonder. I couldn't possibly comment. There are rumours.
When you have an EastEnders actor, right, texted him after the game going, Bowen's on fire. Wait a minute, what? You know, right? You know you're doing the right thing. He don't care. That Mr. Dyer don't care that he's going home and railing. He loves it because I tell you what, he's getting up in the morning and putting on a performance every day, isn't he?
Yeah. He's definitely playing for a smile on his face. I know that.
he certainly is, and I couldn't speculate about that one, Walshy. I really couldn't. Should we go for the Nuggets?
Well, we haven't even discussed the game when we're 52 minutes in, but screw it, let's go.
Let's have some Nuggets. Why not? Here we go. We've accumulated 23 points from our 11 Premier League games this season, winning 7, drawing 2, and losing 2. Only in 75-76 and 80-81, both 24 when adjusted for 3 points for a win, have they ever had more at this stage of a Football League campaign. We're making history, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. I mean, I'm scared. I'm scared because we all know eventually the bubble has to burst.
No, it doesn't have to.
It does, because it burst on Liverpool yesterday. Okay, so at some point, you know, it does happen. At the moment, I'm riding the crest of this wave. I'll be honest with you, I'm getting up in the morning. I actually pressed record on Sky yesterday at 4 o'clock in the morning when they replayed the game. So I've got that saved on Sky downstairs here in the pub. But I ain't going to lie to you, that's going to be played over and over again for the next few days because there's nothing else worth watching, including fucking Friday with that pile of shit that we call the international team playing.
Your thoughts on that particular piece of information, Ben?
Well, it just makes you proud, doesn't it? You know, proud that we've got a manager and a group of players that are, you know, are consistent and really want to challenge. You know what I mean? I think not necessarily in relation to that, but I just think that win yesterday, I think mentally that's a big win for our players because I think, you know, we've beat City at home, albeit in the cup. We've beat Liverpool at home. I think our players are starting to think, do you know what? We can actually go toe to toe with these lot and get a result. So, listen, mate, that's really fantastic nugget, and hopefully it just keeps getting better and better.
Can I tempt you with another nugget, sir?
I'm starving, certainly.
Let's do it. Here's the other nugget. Liverpool suffered their first defeat in 26 games across all competitions where they won 18 and drew 7. It ended what was their joint longest unbeaten run since they joined the Football League in 1893. It's also ended the last remaining unbeaten record in this season's Premier League. So if anyone was in any doubt as to the magnitude of the victory yesterday, there it is in black and white. Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I knew they was on a long unbeaten run. I didn't know it was their longest, pretty much since they started as a club. I think, and I'm glad that we done it. To see Klopp whinging about this and that. I'm glad that it was us. And to be honest, a bit of feedback from my mates that were at the game said their fans were spitting at us and generally acting
I
like
saw that.
scumbags. So at the end of the day, I'm glad it was us that stopped their winning run.
Duke, your thoughts on that nugget?
Right. You know what? The fact that coincides with the first time that Moyes has beaten him in quite some time, I don't know whether that's one of your nuggets, I don't know if I've ruined it, but you coincide that with Moyes actually turning him over for the first time since he was at Everton.
Yeah.
Make my day, right? And you just said there, Ben, about the fact that they were spitting everything else. Listen, we know damn well, right, that them fans, like all fans, I'm not going to say that it's just Liverpool fans. Every fan has the ability to be a scumbag.
Yeah.
I've seen social media posts today about some pissed up Neanderthal in a West Ham shirt that decided to give grief to a dad and his son because the son was in a Liverpool shirt going into the home end. Now, I don't agree with fans going into away fans coming into the home end.
Yep.
And I don't agree with the fact that we should be allowing that to happen.
Yep.
But that being said, the kid was only about, I think, 7 or 8 years old. And from what I read, the poor kid had fear in his eyes because he thought his dad was about to get a kicking. Now, the pissed up Neanderthal that was wearing a West Ham shirt, this is a message to you. I can't tolerate that shit. That winds me up because there's no need for it. I get that they should have been in the home end. But that kid didn't need to see that. And the chances are that kid won't now want to go to a football match again because he witnessed that sort of shit. There's no need for it. We're better than that as fans. We're better than that. And we're always, to a certain degree, quite accommodating sometimes as fans, especially for younger ones. When I was younger, I was always passed down when we went to games, always climbed over. Passed over the heads of people. I was on some sort of crowd surfing bloody concert shit and passed down the front because we've always looked out for the youngsters, regardless. And I don't care. I don't know what's happened, and there was no need for that guy to do it. I
can't help myself. I can't help myself. I disagree. I think if you're bringing your kid to West Ham in another team shirt, you're a fucking idiot, and you deserve.
I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is, I don't think we should have reacted like it.
Oh yeah, I think anyone. I don't. If you're a father bringing your kid in a rival shirt into a home end,
it was daft.
You deserve anything that's coming. I'm not saying you deserve to be beaten up, but
I'm not saying that he, it was a mistake on his part. What I'm saying is the reaction of this certain individual and the way he behaved,
right.
Will speak volumes, unfortunately, about our club. Because that'll go around that a West Ham fan spat vile abuse at a Liverpool fan and his dad, a Liverpool fan and his young son. And what that does is that tarnishes us all with the same brush, sadly. In the same way that you just said there, the Liverpool fans were spitting at the West Ham fans. You only had to look at the game the other week when they did, was it Rapid Vienna? When they decided that somehow they managed to get in one of them big old blue water bottles. Listen, I can't even get a bottle top still on me ball down to me seat. Let alone someone taking in a massive great office water cooler jug. I mean, what's that about? And then, so I just don't want us to be tarnished. We're having a great season, and if that is the headlines, then it takes the shine off it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Chaps, I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I do apologise.
Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Cheers, Ben.
Come on, you Iron.
Come on, you Irons. Well, he's buggered off and left us. Do you want the last little nugget, Duke?
I just hope it weren't in.
Let's show you the last nugget. Here we go. West Ham manager David Moyes earned his first win in 15 Premier League meetings with Liverpool, drawing 4 and losing 10 across spells with Everton, Man United, Sunderland and West Ham. It was also the Hammers' first win in 11 league meetings with the Reds, when we've drawn 2 and lost 8.
I mean, listen, different side now, haven't we? And this is what we've been saying. We are now a different side. We are now there's no club in the Premier League, mate, that wants to play us right now. They're still pitched in from inside the ground. They've still got it down to the seat. No one wants to play us right now, mate. No. And
even
in the Premier League,
even the top 3-4 I mean, sort of like I said in one of my pieces I did the other day about, Manchester City, Chelsea and Liverpool. I know we've just beaten Liverpool and we obviously beat Manchester City via penalties in the League Cup the other week, but they're on a different plane to us in terms of their playing squad, in terms of their financial firepower. But if you take those 3 to one side, there's really not a team in the Premier League, and I don't wish to come across as conceited, big-headed or anything like that. But there's not a team at the minute that I'm looking at and really looking at and going, oh, I don't want to play them.
You know what? I'm telling you now, there are going to be 19 teams that are going to be looking. Their defence are going to be looking and thinking, I don't want to play against Antonio. Screw that for a game of toy soldiers. Because he just bullied one of the players that is considered to be the best defender in the Premier League, the best defender probably in Europe to a degree, and they're not going to be fancying their chances against him. That's the centre backs. They're not going to be looking forward to coming up against him. They're not going to be looking for. Listen, we just made a Liverpool side who are banging. Let's not mess around. They're a great side. They've got a great lineup, like you just said.
Yeah.
They've got so many players on the bench that are worth probably more than half our squad put together. And yet, we turned them over, mate. And we embarrassed them.
Well, I make the argument in the monologue I did on the match blog right at the end, the last 8 minutes or so. And if you haven't seen it, please go and have a look. But the last 8 minutes or so is me just chatting to the camera and just going through my thoughts. And to be fair, I mean, you look at the starting 11s yesterday, player for player. Really, there's not too many players that you would take from the West Ham 11 on an individual basis and put into Liverpool's team. I mean, for example, would you take Mo Salah out for Jared Bowen? Would you take Sadio Mane out for Pablo Fornals? I'd take Henderson out for Declan Rice. Yes, fine. Would I take Ben Johnson out for Trent? Arguable, but but there's not too many West Ham players that I'd put in the Liverpool team. But our team at the minute is greater than the sum of its parts. I keep saying it and I'll keep saying it. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 with us. It equals 5. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'll tell you what I'm finding really difficult at the moment is I'm finding it difficult to keep my feet on the ground. Okay, with all of this, I'm finding it really difficult to stay a bit unbiased, if you will, because doing this channel, I don't want to get too carried away.
Yeah, fair.
I want to try and stay grounded. I don't want to get to a point where we're on here and so like you said earlier to me in the chat, in our WhatsApp chat, where you said about you say something and then it's there forever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? You know, all right, we can hide certain streams, but what's the point in that? You know, we have done. All right.
I'm saying nothing.
I apologise for that.
You did.
So I want to try and stay grounded. I'm having a great difficulty right now that with every game that goes past, I wouldn't say that my expectation is becoming to a point where I expect to win every game. I'm not. I don't want to become like the City fans that we noticed after we played them and beat them in the cup. They came. I've always liked the City fans. Some of them came across as self-entitled, i.e., how dare you do that to us? We're better than you. And it's the same as Liverpool.
They're probably the younger fans, though, aren't they? They're probably the fans that have only been used to City winning.
Yeah, same as the Liverpool fans yesterday. Come across as quite conceited. I don't want to be that fan, but the more this goes on and the more this run continues, the more I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I'm expecting to win every game because of
I don't know about you.
The way we're playing it. I don't want to get caught up in that whilst we're doing these videos, because then that comes across as like, what I've just said about the younger Man City fans and the Liverpool fans is that we deserve to win everything because our players are better than your players. But now, every time we come up against these teams, I'm looking at it and going, well, you wouldn't make my. Would I replace him with you? No. Would I replace him with you? No. I'm at that point now because of our team and the way they're gelling. Do I feel that Sadio Mane could come in and be a better player than Antonio? No, because Antonio right now playing for West Ham, he's the best in his position for the way we play. There's no one better out there, in my opinion, than him right now. Jared Bowen, Ben Rama, Fornell, all the way back through that team. So I don't want to get conceited. I don't want to be that person. But don't it feel great? Don't it feel great right now that we wake up with this buzzing thing? That's all I've got for it. It's a buzzing feeling that we're flying right now, and I just hope it continues, mate. To be honest with you, I just hope it will happen. It will happen, and we will have one of them. But right now, I'm buzzing and I'm loving life. I'm waking up every day, trying to find that West Ham shirt. It might be, but it looks like it's been painted on because I need to wear it. I'm always trying to wear my West Ham shirt, always. But right now, there's a swagger of arrogance in that pride. And I'm really enjoying myself.
And the thing is, even in the two matches that we've lost this season, we didn't lose it sort of like by much. We lost it by one goal. Both the goals come in the 89th and 90th minute respectively. The one thing you've got to say about West Ham under David Moyes is we are always competitive.
Oh, mate, listen, right? I said this to someone in the pub yesterday. They were sitting there watching the game with me, and they said that we got a bit scrappy and we got a bit, what was the word they used? We got a bit dirty, a little bit niggly. We got a little bit, stuck out for that last 10 minutes. We were sticking our foot in, and we were, we weren't taking anything for granted. We were breaking up play, and I said that's what the great teams do. That's what the great teams do. They break up play. If you look at Calvin Phillips in the Euros, that's exactly what he did before he got his yellow card in the final. He was breaking up play with little niggly fouls. That's what the good teams do. It's how they grind out wins. And right now, we did that yesterday. In that last 10 minutes after we scored the winner, so we said the last 5 minutes after we scored the winner, we ground that win out. We defended like beavers.
To use one of Cammy's little sayings. Before we wrap it up, Duke, final thoughts on not just yesterday, but what lies ahead?
Mate, whatever lies ahead right now, okay, whatever comes from this, and I think you might be in agreement on this one. Whatever follows, this has been an absolutely outstanding start to the season. This has been we are currently, I believe, 13 points from safety. I've got Tottenham fans that are writing stuff on Facebook saying, I hate to admit it, but I don't think West Ham are going down this season.
Why,
it's about
thank you.
the only. Listen, it's about the only comment I would expect and a compliment that I would expect from them, if I'm honest with you, right now. And it's quite funny because, you know, we're all in a bit of an awe about what's going on at the minute, and I'm loving life. Whatever comes, whatever follows from this amazing start to the season, and we're almost halfway there. You know, we get to January, we're almost halfway there right now, and it's been amazing. I will hold whatever happens for the rest of this season, I will hold dear, because it gave me a chance to see West Ham compete with, like you said earlier, the so-called big boys. We haven't spent hundreds of millions of pounds. We've done it the right way, and I still stand by that comment. We've done it the right way. We ain't gone out and bought Chelsea, for instance, when they bought every team's best player in the Premier League, Sidwell, Parker, all the rest of them, just Sean Wright-Phillips, just so every other team lost their talisman and meant that they couldn't compete, you know, with Chelsea because they'd bought all their best players. You know, we lost Glenn Johnson and Frank Lampard and Joe Cole in exactly the same way. And, you know, the team suffered for it. We're doing it the right way. You know, we're building a team with, you know, a player to shore up this position in one transfer window, a player to shore up this position, a player to put the pressure on the first choice player in this position. And like I say, we're doing it the right way. And I can hold that dear because we're competing right now. And right now we are competing on a scale that I don't think I would have ever believed that we could do after all these years as a West Ham fan. But yeah, here we are. And like I say, whatever comes, I'm going to hold this season. This season holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And guys,
where do you stand on it?
Magic. I mean, as I say, I believe it is my opinion that this is the greatest team in the Premier League era that we've produced. And I know people will turn around and say, what about the team that finished fifth under Harry and went on to win the Intertoto? And I will turn around and say that was a better collection of individuals. That was 11 players that, player for player, talent-wise, you know, you look at Rio, you look at Frank Lampard Jr., you look at Joe Cole, Michael Carrick, Trevor Sinclair, Paolo Di Canio, so on and so forth. Individually, that 11 had superior players, in my opinion. Some of them were yet to hit their peak. Some of them were coming down from their peak. Some of them were at their peak. But I think that was a better 11 of individuals. But this 11, whilst might be individually inferior to their like-for-like replacement, I believe that this blend of players is just so complete and so perfect that they complement each other so utterly perfectly that I believe that this team is the best Premier League era team that we've put out.
Couldn't agree more, mate. It's an amazing time to be a West Ham fan. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going to have a quick look at the comment. Yeah, we are. I believe we're doing it the right way, Steve. 100%. Eamon Green, I think they will, especially with the new investor. And that was something, actually, just while on that, because you were saying about Adam Hlošek. Well, this guy, Daniel Kretinsky, is the 40% majority, well, not majority shareholder, but he's the 40% shareholder and the president at Slavia Prague, which is the club that Adam Hlošek currently plays for. Just got to throw this out there. Does that maybe make, if Kretinsky does get the contract signed and gets the 27% share at the club, does that possibly make that move a bit more likely, a bit easier to make? Surely it does.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, mate. To be honest with you, I think it might. But again, I go back to what we were saying about Seema. You know, we all rallied because Seema had this fantastic standout goal scoring record in the Czech league, and again, we all pissed off as fans. Let's not lie. Every single one of us in the chat, 24 of them. Let's get some likes on this video, by the way. Come on, people.
Yeah, there's 20. Well, now 23. One of them's buggered off. We've got 22 likes. So one of you hasn't liked it. Come on, sort that out.
You know, we were all pissed off when Seymour went to Brighton and then to Stoke for 5 million because we've been quoted that it was going to cost us somewhere in the region of 40. Yeah. Well, it's proven that ain't working out, is it? Really, grand scheme of things. So, I'm not. Listen, it is what it is. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Let's just enjoy the ride. And
absolutely
a new one, Casey. Mm-hmm. A new one.
Go for it.
It's a new little phrase I'm going to use every stream, alongside the fact that we are fucking massive. It's all Hail the Messiah.
Hail the Messiah.
All Hail the Messiah.
I think that's fair. That's fair enough. I think the job he's done has been absolutely first class. So you won't get any argument from me. Guys, hopefully I won't get an argument from you on this one. This information on this banner here, you can find it in the description below YouTube and on Facebook. Please copy and paste it, put it onto your social media platforms. You know the drill. This is to help young Isla Caton, who's battling neuroblastoma and all of the fallout and around it. Her family still need help. This is still an appeal that is still ongoing. The focus has shifted somewhat from treatment. Now the family are trying to get Isla experiences and enrich her days, weeks, months that lie ahead. So please put this onto your social media platforms with a little note as to what it's all about, that there's a little girl out there that's very poorly and needs our help. If you're in a position to put any money in the pot, you've got the Just Giving link there. Please do. No donation is too small. And as always, the more the merrier. And we thank you very much indeed for your attention. And Eamon agrees with you, Duke. We are massive.
We are massive. Come on, you God rip-roaring irons.
I couldn't have put it any better myself. And don't forget, guys, before I do my sign out, to put a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and go on, Duke. What are they doing with the bell today?
I want them to bash that bell. I want them to bash that bell like they've never bashed that bell before.
Bash the bell, guys. You know it makes sense. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.